the issue of structure, which is really very essential. So long as elections in Nigeria is concerned, you definitely need to have structures and put in place. I mean, just while we're on break, legal practitioner, we were mentioning something very important. At the polling units, which you said we have about 13,000 of them. In Lagos alone. In Lagos
and
only, we have 13,000.
It differs from state to state. Now, so at this polling unit, you need agents who will man so that they can actually watch out for your interest and everything.
The interest of the party.
Now, so that brings you to the fact that a party that is serious, that wants to get its votes counted and well recorded, should have agents positioned in these places. So you're looking at least minimum of 2.
Yeah.
Now, so that's 26,000 persons
in Lagos.
In Lagos for your party by every polling unit. Now, it doesn't go like that with the 36 states. Some have fewer, but let's just put it at, say, 8 for some other states. You need that level of manpower. That's what you call, that's one of the tiny bits of what you refer to as structure. Now, also, we've seen instances where, where you don't have a candidate in other positions. Understand the fact that this is still a country with large level of people who are not very literate. Now, so they just follow whatever anybody tells them. If you don't have anybody representing your interests in a particular position, people will just come and say, this is where you put it. There are aged people. There are young people who don't understand how these things work. Now, so at the end of the day, all these things count.
All right.
When it comes to elections.
Yes, I understand we have Mr. Nesta back with us. Nesta, perhaps we could allow you the time to respond to some of these issues that we have raised.
Right,
and let me also add that while we talk about the issue of structures for your party, the Labour Party, for instance, which has taken advantage of the new or social media, but the common or average Nigerian at the grassroots or the rural areas has no idea what Twitter is about.
Well, it baffles me when I keep hearing people trying to give advice as if people in the movement do not know what to do. I heard your guest talking about polling unit, having this. Who told you that we don't have those things? Do you think we'll just come on TV and be telling you about our strategies? Have you heard about unit-based leadership? In the past, you'll be hearing about words. Have you heard about unit-based? Let me tell you, we're going to have unit leaders, polling unit leaders, unit by unit all over the country. Has any political party in the past done that? So I told you earlier on, we're not here to be revealing our strategies. So leave that one for us. Don't give us any advice. Let me also remind your guests that many of the people that are in the movement, they have been members of various political parties that have been so active that they know all these things. So don't just assume that some people just gather themselves together and they don't know what they're doing. I think it's good for them to keep underrating us. They will wait for a shocker. We are going to shock them with our votes. They've been saying we do not have structures. Let's meet at the ballot. Then they will know that we have structures.
Can I also ask you, Mr. Nesta, the emergence of Peter Obi, if eventually he becomes Mr. President, if eventually, will that put an end to the crisis, the agitations, the tensions in the Southeast region?
Well, all I know is that Peter Obi and the Daitti Baba-Ahmed are cerebral people who understand people's management because they have been CEO in their various companies, and that's what I'm saying. And most of our leaders that have been running this country, how many of them have run a business of their own? How many of them have run a corporate organizations? That's why you see them operating by instinct. They are not management-centered. They are not people-centric. Peter Obi is going to be people-centric. He's going to treat us like customers. Every CEO who want to treat people that comes to do business with him like customer. As any leader in this country treated us like customers. So that's what you see, it's a paradigm shift. So we are looking at someone who will treat us like customers. When we have grievance, it will listen to us. So, and it's going to gather best of brains to resolve this problem. Look, Nigeria's problem is not beyond solution. What we need is people who are sincere. I told you earlier on, they are telling you 300 people were on bike to raid a prison. If 300 bikes are plying Ojuelegba Road, it will fill the road. And those 300 people went there, they parked the bike, as I suppose. They went in and do whatever they wanted to do, and they left. And the government up to now has not come out to tell us what actually happened. Is that the kind of leadership you want in a country like this?
Mr. Nesta, you have been a bit evasive with my answers and questions. I was asking, if Mr. Peter Obi eventually becomes the president, if he becomes, will that put an end to the tension, the agitations in the southeast region? Would that put an end to the attacks we've seen in that part of the country?
Of course, because look, if you speak with a general, he will tell you that war is not ended at the battlefield. War is ended at the round table. Have they called any of the IPOB people to call them for discussion that what are your problems, so that they can discuss with the government and hear them out and find solutions to their problem? Has this present government done that?
They have not. Yeah, but they have the IPOB people have dissociated themselves from Peter Obi.
Well, excuse me, don't join me. When I'm not talking. Honestly, I'm not here to talk about IPOB, and I don't want to join issues with the IPOB. All right, because I'm not an IPOB member, and I don't want to join issue with the issues of IPOB. All I'm telling you is that we need leadership that will discuss with aggrieved people from the north, from the south, from the west, from the east. Conversation, dialogue. That's what we need. All right. What happened in Kuje? If it had happened in Enugu or Abia State, what do you think the military will have done? Have they gone to Kuje now to go and kill people there like they did in the southeast? So don't let us go into that area, please. Don't let us go into that area at all. So we need a leader that will gather this country. This country is fragile. Peter Obi understands it. And when he gets there, he's going to get people from all parts of this country to sit down at the round table to discuss issues. IPOB, Yoruba, Igboho, and the people in the north, they will all discuss together and find solution to this problem. So this problem is solvable. It is because the present government is hiding behind more fingers, thinking that the talking heads in the Aso Rock, when issue comes up, will douse the tension. No, it's not going to help. The president himself has not taken time to address the nation, to assuage the feelings of the people. What kind of leadership is that? What kind of leadership is that?
All right. I want you to address the issue of...
just before we go, please, very briefly.
Yes, just before we go. You know, he has been talking about bringing a productive economy. But he himself has not done anything in the area, because this guy I'm talking about is being a productive man and a CEO, but he's basically made his money doing imports. And there are other issues about Obi, but just address this issue of he wants to bring a productive economy, but he has not even done anything in terms of
producing.
If we will talk about Obi, we can only allude to what he has done in the past.
Yes.
And one of the things that baffles me, which his supporters sell, is the fact that he was able to save money and put it in a bank for the state whilst he was governor. Now, but have we looked at what bank he put the money in? The same bank where he was chairman?
Yeah, man.
If you try that in saner climes, you will never be here running for presidency.
It was asked in the public.
Yes.
Last time he ran as vice president that he put Anambra money in his family account. And he said he was saving it in his family account for the state. Is that not enough for you not to even make any noise in public?
So, one, if you look at it, the money you're saving, it's good to save money. But at the same time, were there things to be done? No, were there things to be done that you didn't do? Was Anambra at its best at that time, infrastructure-wise, that you had to carry money and save? Then now, let's look at where you saved the money. In a place where you're chief executive, that is an aberration. That is not the way to go. Things should not be done. These are things we should look at. So the day he becomes president of Nigeria and he saves money in his bank, then you know that he's done it before, he will do it again.
Apparently, the family account seems the safest
Yes. Keep it in the family.
But that's a good place to anchor our conversation. Thank you so much, legal practitioner and social development advocate Olutubosun. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very
and
much.
virtually, we had Mr. Nesta Komolafe of the Peter Obi movement. Thank you so much, Mr. Nesta, for your thoughts.
I thought you would give me a right of reply to what they just said.
You asked so many.
Because I can see that they are putting Peter Obi on the
we'll have you back. Hopefully, we'll have you back on the program in the build-up to the elections. But thank you so much again, indeed, for your thoughts on the program. This is TVC Breakfast.